CJ McCollum tied a career high with 50 points, and the host New Orleans Pelicans ended an 11-game losing streak by defeating the Washington Wizards 132-120 on Friday night. McCollum made 18 of 27 shots, including 10 three-pointers on 16 attempts, as the Pelicans won for only the second time in 22 games. Trey Murphy III added 17 points. Brandon Boston scored 13 off the bench, and Yves Missy had 12 points and 11 rebounds as 6 Pelicans scored in double figures. The Pelicans have the NBA's worst record at 6-29, but now share with Washington, 6-26, the dubious distinction of having the fewest victories in the league. McCollum had his toe on the three-point line when he hit a 21-foot jumper to give New Orleans a 128-111 lead. It was initially ruled a three, which would have given him a career high in points and tied his franchise high of 11 made threes. But it was reduced to a 2-point shot on video review. McCollum played just 30 minutes, 40 seconds in the game. In his other previous 50-point game, he played only 29:16, according to ESPN research. By doing so, he joins Klay Thompson as the only players to record multiple career 50-point games while playing fewer than 31 minutes since 1955-56. New Orleans was playing at home for the first time since a deadly New Year's Day attack in the French Quarter, and a moment of silence was held before tip-off. McCollum scored 8 points as New Orleans began the third quarter with a 17-4 run that gave it a 79-72 lead. Carlton Carrington answered with a field goal for the Wizards, but McCollum scored 7 points and the Pelicans opened their biggest lead of the quarter, 92-83, with 4:52 to go in the third. Jordan Poole scored 4 points to start a 14-5 run by Washington that tied the score at 97 going into the fourth quarter. Jordan Hawkins made a three-pointer to tie the score at 101 and start a 10-0 run that gave New Orleans a 108-101 lead. Justin Champagne's field goal ended the run, but the Pelicans scored the next 10 points to take a 15-point lead. The Pelicans scored the first 6 points of the game, and McCollum had 8 in the first 3:33 of the game as New Orleans took a 13-4 lead. Champagne scored 5 points during a 12-2 run that pushed the Wizards into a 16-15 lead. The lead changed hands 4 more times before Brogdon and Jonas Valanciunas scored 4 each to help Washington take a 37-29 lead into the second quarter. McCollum made 2 three-pointers in Boston, and Jose Alvarado made 1 each to help New Orleans take a 43-42 lead. That was the first of 16 lead changes in the second quarter, and the score was tied 4 times before the Wizards scored the final 7 points to take a 68-62 halftime lead. Poole scored 24 points for the Wizards, but was affected by a hard fall under the basket with 4:38 left in the third quarter. He scored only 5 more points after the fall, which sent him to the locker room briefly for treatment of lower back soreness.